woke me up. He was hammered drunk. And he was like, hey, Ray, today we're getting your brother a gift at Toys R Us, but first I'm going to get my first tattoo.
What about a high five confidence? For somebody, like you go for a pound with somebody and it makes that not thick pound sound or that high five sound?
Oh, you feel soft. If you and another dude go to like, I mean, that is a good question. I feel like we have not discussed this yet.
We haven't. Is there a people pleaser aspect to
greeting?
I think there's half seriousness when somebody wants to redo a pound or like a what up kind of slap, and they're like, let's redo that. That wasn't good. Like it's done under the guise of a joke. But let's be honest.
It's insecurity.
What?
It's insecurity.
It's insecurity.
You feel kind of like less of a man when you mess up the greeting, shake, pound, dap up, whichever one you're going to do. I also don't like that there is such a...
You become a cuck immediately.
Oh, you're a bitch.
You're like... When they hit that weird sound, you go, you can fuck my wife.
Well, dude, I mean, that used to be the way men in business would establish dominance is with a handshake. Like, people would judge you by your handshake. It's the weirdest thing ever.
And then there was handshake etiquette that they would have, right? And then that was just kind of going away because of COVID. Now you have, it's not just handshake etiquette. It's fist bump. It's elbow bump. It's pound. It's like we're still that's one thing that never came out of when things got back to quote unquote normal. Some people are still doing the fist bump.
Can I say I'm happy about it? I
don't mind it.
I've always hated the like dudes trying to dominate you with their handshake.
Have you had that happen to you?
Yeah, like guys will like shake your hand too hard. And I'm like, bro, I'll kick your ass. You're like a little dude trying to tough guy handshake me to establish some level of dominance. What are you trying to sell me a car? What am I going? What am I going to prom with your daughter?
What am I in Mad Men?
That's what I'm saying.
What are you, Don Draper?
Shake my hand.
What are you trying to get the Pepsi account?
That's a good handshake, right? Firm. But have you ever had like a gripper? Like a guy really try to grip you?
Yes, I've had a guy like try to pull your arm off or like crush your hand. You ever that happens? It's usually older guys. A lot of older guys. It's like they use their like, hey, I've been a cement worker for 30 years, handshake, and you're
That's what I'm saying.
All right, you can be dainty for a shake. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a handshake. It's not you're not doing 8 hours of sheetrock. Let's relax.
Well, what I'm saying is they know how to shake a hand like a normal person. They just choose not to.
No. I actually submit that, like you said, I think it's insecurity. So if you're a meathead, right? It's not. They're not going into it thinking. Oh, they're thinking I'm going to show every part of my life is showing this guy, so showing people how tough I am. My job, the jokes I make with my friends, how much I drank, right? Like guys like at the bar or whatever it is, right? So that doesn't stop when it comes to a handshake. It's like I'm gonna out handshake you. I'm gonna shake the shit out of your hand, and you're gonna bend over first.
But I think it's such a lame.
It's totally lame.
Lame thing.
It's totally outdated. Totally lame. I think most people like you ever like most people would have gotten in touch with themselves enough not to have a meathead handshake.
But I'm all for establishing dominance with other dudes. Like if you want to establish dominance, go for it. But if you're trying to do it with a handshake,
well, that just makes no sense. They kind of go against each other. Handshake's supposed to be a friendly gesture it's supposed to be a welcoming. It's almost like almost like back to animal instincts. It's like I'm showing you the inside of my hand. I'm giving you my hand.
Press the flesh. But if you see like if you read like certain old school books about business, they'll talk about like the art of a handshake. I feel like, and how to like assert yourself with a handshake, and how they'll judge people based off of a handshake.
And what do they say to do? It's like. They probably give you like the duration.
Look right in
the eyes. Yeah,
look right in the eyes.
Yeah.
Firm handshake.
You realize how if you take those instructions wrong, how much of a psychopath you could look like, which I think happens to people all the time.
Or if you do the shake and you go like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you pull away. And somebody's like, dude, did you just count out loud? You go, what?
Or if you don't get it right, you do Mississippi's and it's a 14-second handshake.
Well, yo, you can tell like sometimes have you ever shook a dude's hand and they weren't trying to establish any level of dominance or anything like that, but they just did because of the sheer size and just thickness of their hand?
Yes. You feel like you're meeting a brisket.
Yeah.
it's not that it's a hard handshake. You're like, why is my hand filled with dough pastries right now? Why am I like it's like just so much mass in your because I'm.
It feels like you're shaking
an insecurity thing for me is, and we talked about this. Yeah. I do have tiny hands.
Me too.
But your hands are bigger than mine. I have my dad's hands. We both had tiny hands. I only now I'm really coming to grips with it. Like so, when I do shake people's hand, like there is a moment where I'm like Stallone and Cliffhanger. I have to like hold on to the back of the hand,
and you got to dig in a little bit because they'll cut you short.
Yeah. Now, that being said, all the confidence, hey, don't be a meathead, shake people's hands normally.
Yeah.
The looking in the eyes is psychotic. That being said, you give me a dead fish, I lose respect for you.
Really?
A dead fish handshake? You know what that is?
Yeah.
You know what the dead fish is?
I do.
It's nothing. It's like this.
I do to people I don't respect all the time.
No, you do not do that.
Yeah.
You're saying to me?
Yeah.
The flag handshake, like flailing in the wind. No,
I won't do that. I don't appreciate.
I know you don't do that, but the flip side, it's so funny. I'm sitting there going like, hey, let's relax on the dominance with the handshakes, but at the same time, it's like we'll still be a human. Have a pulse and shake somebody's hand normally if you're going to shake the hand. And now you have no excuse to give a dead fish because usually dead fish probably comes out of you don't give a fuck or you're like a germaphobe and you're half-assing or whatever it is. But now you have no excuse because now fist bump is acceptable or elbow bump, whatever it is.
The elbow bump annoys me.
It was like almost like a
back off.
Elbow bump became a thing of like, I don't know what to do. What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. And it was like, hey, we have our own little inside joke for 10 seconds because I don't know if you're a handshake person or a fist bump person.
Well, there's nothing that bums me out more than I go in for a pound and you go in for a dap up, or I go in for something and you're going in for something else, and just that awkwardness. I hate the awkwardness. It's the worst with a handshake. So what I've been doing lately is I make my choice back here, like back up against like my chest, so they see it coming. What's up, dude? And I go real slow in, and then I hit him with the bump.
Oh, you advertise
I go like, what's up, man? And I put up like, I'm coming in for a dap, and they're going to know it's coming. Because I hate the idea of me palming a fist or me fisting your palm.
Yeah. You're just making like a Thanksgiving turkey. Like you put your fist next to there with their 5 fingers out, and it just looks like a child's school project.
It's silly.
Yeah.
And fisting should be what it's called when you pound them, but fisting
fisting is something different.
Been taken over by the industry,
by the big porn industry.
By big porn,
which they have their hands in everything. Let's be honest. Them and the devil.
Well, you're going to hell if you watch it.
Porn?
Yeah, I was watching pornography one time, and
just the one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time I watched it, first and last time I ever watched it, and I saw the dude was doing it to a lady. They were having sex, and
boning.
They were boning.
Bonetown, USA.
That was the name of the video. I sent you the video, I think. No, so you see them having sex, and then I stop and I like pause, and I'm like, does that dude have a Steelers tattoo on his shoulder? I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm a big Steelers fan. And then I like zoom in. Yeah, he had a Steelers tattoo on his shoulder.
It's probably your neighbor.
I just screenshot it and I like sent it to all my friends.
And
I didn't even finish.
You didn't finish because the minute football comes up, you're like, it's an interesting thing for your psyche. The minute Steelers come up, all sexuality goes away from a situation.
No, it's pretty sexual. but no, it was just like funny. It was amusing to me.
Yeah, when you find out anything personal about somebody in a porno.
Well, I'm just like, oh, dude, the Steelers. Oh shit, Steelers. We're everywhere. We're the best. Welcome to Steeler country. This is what we do.
Steeler Nation, is that a saying?
Steelers Nation.
Steelers Nation.
Welcome to Steelers Nation.
Even in pornos.
It's Steelers Nation. Yes.
The whole nation is Steelers Nation.
Man, I gotta find that video again.
Also, don't you wonder about that guy's? Obviously, you now know something about. It's like learning something about your therapist. finding a personal piece of info about somebody in a porno is like your therapist telling you their life story or something. Like you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to know about you. I don't. You're supposed to know about me. Like, you're the one being exposed. You're masturbating in front of this video. You're supposed to just be a trope of a person fucking another person on the video. So you think about it. This guy obviously was from Pittsburgh. Nobody gets a Pittsburgh Steelers tattoo and isn't from Pittsburgh.
You can still be a fan of the team.
But to get the tattoo is a real... You're a huge fan and you don't have a tattoo.
That's a big step.
Would you ever get a Steelers tattoo?
No.
Does your brother have one?
No.
Does he have any Pittsburgh tattoos?
No.
Would you ever get a Pittsburgh tattoo?
No. Me and my brother were thinking of getting a tattoo, though. It's the same tattoo.
Dead dad one?
Yeah, dead dad tat. Do you have a dead dad tat?
Yeah.
Do your sisters have dead dad tats?
No.
Dead dad tat?
Dead dad tat?
Well,
it sounds like you're saying dad tat.
Dad tat. Well, what's your tat of?
It's a horseshoe because we used to go to the track all the time together, and has a line from a Baptist General song that reminds me of him that I like a lot, going across it.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yes. It's a song called St. Christopher's Medal, and also he gave me a St. Christopher's Medal once.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
I don't. I lost it, and it was
a
really bad day for me.
We were gonna get, and I may have told the story on the podcast. I've told about my dad's Batman tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You did say this. You guys are gonna get the same one.
We were gonna get a similar Batman tattoo that just said Zawodni on it, our last names.
And where would it be in the? Because it was a Batman Forever tattoo, right?
It was a Batman Forever tattoo, which was kind of like this fuchsia, purple, and greenish bat symbol. He wanted to get it covered up. I remember there was a year where my dad wanted to get this Batman tattoo covered up because he only got it because he woke me up. The quick story is he woke me up. He was hammered drunk. And he was like, hey, Ray, today we're getting your brother a gift at Toys R Us, but first I'm going to get my first tattoo. He got turned down by a couple of tattoo shops till finally we find the place, and he didn't figure out what he wanted to get a tattoo of. And he's like, Ray, what should I get? And I have my comic book with me. And I'm like, get this Batman Forever tattoo because it had the advertisement in it.
Yeah.
So he had the Batman Forever tattoo till the day he died.
Right.
But there was a time where he was like, hey, it was the Val Kilmer Batman, dude. You got the Val Kilmer Batman tattoo?
But
he wanted to get it covered up.
He loved you because he took your suggestion.
He was drunk.
Still.
But he wanted to get it. He was like, I'm getting that covered up. I was like, no, fuck you. You're not getting that covered up. You got to live with that decision.
Yeah.
His car ended up breaking down that day. We had to get picked up by his dad.
That's right. You told me that.
That's crazy.
But here's the thing. What would be the version that you and your brother would get?
We would probably get the same one, but there's a version of that tattoo that has like a cool question mark around it because it was the Riddler.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And that's kind of the one he wants to get. But I don't really have tattoo money right now.
Tattoo money is that's why I always wonder. I don't know if I've ever had tattoo money. I love tattoos. Love them. I have a few of them. And it's always on a whim. And it's when I have some cash. But I'm always a one for guy. 3 of my tattoos were for free at the Comedy Cellar Christmas party.
That's pretty awesome.
They have a tattoo artist there, and I'm the first in line to get the little, like the what do they call it? The flash ones they have, like where you just pick on the wall and it's the little ones, like the skull or the thing or whatever.
Are they pretty good though?
They're great. Yeah, they're fine, but they're mixed in with the other ones, so it looks like I'm getting a whole.
I feel like I haven't seen them. I've seen most of your body.
I have a bird. Maybe a skull, and I actually forget what the other one is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but it's almost more for like, it's a fun experience because you're getting it. And all these comics were walking like, Donnelly, you're getting it. And you're like, yeah. I already have I don't mind it. But when people get like giant pieces, and I think they end up spending like $5,000. Like say somebody who has like a whole back piece, it's got to be like $5,000 to $10,000. Yeah.
So
I don't
expensive.
have that kind of cash.
No, hell no.
I would love to get a underside of the forearm tattoo. That would be like, I would love to do that.
That's what Natalie has.
What does she have?
She has a crescent moon.
Okay, that's a very girly.
Just like
tattoo.
right on her wrist.
I like that. Oh no, that's on a wrist. No, I'm talking about like on the forearm, the underside of your forearm.
Do you have any leg tattoos?
No, I don't.
I think
I never understood the point because
I think those are
lame.
Yeah.
I know people who have them. It's usually hardcore tattoo people that get them, I think.
When a dude has one on the back of his calf, I'm like...
I know a guy. We both know a guy. I'm not going to say his name. That would get tattoos removed so he can get other tattoos. He would get almost like an Etch-a-Sketch where you're like shaking a little bit to have a little bit of room to
Doesn't that kind of ruin the purpose of them?
I would assume so, but I guess you change your mind and you change your taste.
He should just go henna. should get henna tattoos.
Yeah, you should. What do they last? About a week? Just get a whole full body.
Yeah.
Everybody like you thought you like were clueless and you thought you were being a badass and you show up to your friends like I got a whole back piece. It's henna. It'll be gone in 13 days.
So I'm kind of trying it out. It's like a test drive.
And it's also like henna has cultural significance. It's like Indian women got it I think for their wedding. I think they get it.
Is it Samoan too?
It might be. I don't know if Samoan is something different though. I think henna originates from India, but I'm not sure.
One of the reasons I'm always hesitant to get a tattoo is one, I'd never thought like I would want something on me that long. I feel like I would get tired of it pretty quickly. Reason number two, I'm not comfortable with my body. And if I got a tattoo, I would want it like on my chest or on my back. And I don't like those parts of my body right now.
I agree. That's why I never got on my chest because I've never had a good chest.
It's me being vulnerable with
You know what's so funny? Do you think you'll ever get to a point where you work out? You have like where you're like become a workout guy?
I'm trying right now.
Are you?
Well, I'm dieting right now, and the workout's gonna start when I come back from this little trip I'm going on.
What's the diet?
Keto. I'm back on keto.
Keto is so hardcore.
It's hardcore, but it's the only thing that's ever worked for me.
Have you lost some weight?
Already?
Yeah.
I've only been on it for 2 days.
Oh, okay.
I got so sick though last night.
You know what made me think I want to work out? Tom Segura got in shape, and enough people say I look like Tom Segura. I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. I'm like, I wonder if I just would look kind of like that if I started doing some kind of workout regimen or something.
I need to lose weight.
So do I.
It's bad.
I gained some back from.
I gained everything. Like I lost 65 pounds in 2.5 months on keto,
and then it went back.
30 came back in 4 months after I stopped.
That's what I think happens with keto.
Well, here's what I need to do. Is I need to lose the weight. Then I just really need to start exercising and like eating like a normal person. When I got off keto, it wasn't like I went back to like a normal regimen of weaning in carbs. It was like,
it was death row style.
Come from the land of the ice and snow, and it's like
you're just Thor jumping,
jumping
into
a
bridge,
bowl of ice cream,
attacking Kate Blanchett with all your food.
Yeah, man. I'm terrible, and I'm fucking busy. It's hard to exercise, dude. Maybe I'm just making excuses. I'm what those guys in the videos.
I think it is hard to exercise. It's also, you know what it is. Whenever it's put in, what I've tried to do is this. So I was at my biggest a while ago, and then I was hovering around like 250 for a long time. And then that we talked about this. I lost weight from that intermittent, and I've stayed on it somewhat, but I'm over 200 again. And I have to get back on my regiment I was doing like walking, and it's not much of an exercise. But I even would meet up with you, and we'd go for a walk. But I was doing the thing where daily I was going for walks, and I ended up doing like 3 miles a day. And then I was like, oh, I'll just up this and up this. And then winter is coming, and you don't up it, So I'm at the point now where I'm like, I think I still want to do the amount of walking. I try to add, like I get off train stops early. I walk. When I'm at Megan's, I walk to the west side and do spots. I'll walk like a half hour in the city, easy walk. I'll try to walk everywhere in the city instead of taking the train if I can, if it's not like too nasty out. So that kind of stuff helps. But I'm like,
it does help.
So and then when you feel,
but your body gets you. I'll tell you this. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Well,
I've read a couple books. I read a couple articles on
chapter books. Call back.
Please, I always read chapter books. I've read like 12 in my life. And no, but somebody told me that like when you do just like light jogging or when you do walking, your body gets used to that very, very quickly.
Okay.
You're not really giving it a shock to the system. So you're almost better off 15 minutes a day doing like a fucking high intensity workout.
Yeah, because your body's never going to get used to that, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. So
now I don't like doing that because I don't like sweating and it makes me feel like I'm going to throw up.
Well, what worked for me was, all right, so if I'm doing all that walking, yeah, your body gets used to it. But if you're taking in less calories, I'm eating less than I was.
No, it's work. It'll work.
It'll work to an extent, but you're right.
You'll plateau quick.
But one thing for me is like when people are like, oh, I'm at the gym using the machines, I'm like, fuck that. What I would need is like to go back to a class or to go like, I don't know, something that's not, because the intermittent thing is like not a diet. So exercise would have to be like not, this many reps on this. I have this weird mental block when it comes to that shit. I just don't enjoy it.
You think you would do well with like a dude yelling at you?
No, I don't do well with a dude. Yeah, it's one of these things where it's like I'm also at the point where I'm like, what am I trying to? I'm bald. I'm 44. I'm like, I want to strive towards dad. If I got the dad bod, I'd be okay. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I just want to be hot for a little bit. I've never been hot. I want to be like a hot guy.
I've never been hot.
I want to be like a hot guy for like, give me this summer. Let me be a hot guy this summer, and then I'm good.
I've been cute for about 12 minutes of my life.
You had 12 minutes?
There was a time they said when I was younger, they were like, "Oh, you kind of look like Chris O'Donnell." For about.
I've heard you say this before.
It was when I was much younger. I'm realistic. I'm not saying it was last fucking week. It was when I was probably like 18 years old. And people are like, "Oh, you." I've heard multiple times I look like Chris O'Donnell.
You know what Chris O'Donnell was in?
School Ties.
Batman Forever. Played Robin.
That's why I have a tattoo of Chris O'Donnell on my back.
Do you really?
And it says above it says, "Don't I look like this guy?"
I might get a Leo one like that.
You should. Don't I sound like this guy? They're like, well, we can't.
Everybody says that I look like him.
I know.
What's a talking tattoo? They'll have the technology.
Yeah, well, I've always said you're a good looking kid.
You have said that,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it.
You got good hair. You got good look. Kids got good looks. So I get the idea. I know what you mean, but you're like, but like I've said, it's like when you're a bigger guy, you kind of and you have hair. Or at least you have those two advantages. You're a tall guy with hair.
I was thinking about.
It's also, I'll tell you right now. Sorry to interrupt you. You know what it is for both of us. You know what it is. Say it. You know what it is. Say it. That was fun to do. That's why I kept going with that.
Ask it again.
Say, you know what it is.
Yeah.
You realize what the problem is.
I know what the problem is.
Okay, say it.
I'm too hyper masculine.
No, you know what I mean. Booze.
It's the booze?
It's the booze.
Why do you think it's the booze?
If both of us stopped drinking for 6 months straight, we both would drop so much weight. Even at my age and because of the amount that we drink, but we just love drinking so much.
I quit drinking for a month. Back in
January. You
January.
had to because you were gonna die if you did.
No shit, but I didn't lose like a ton of weight.
But also you might have been doing a thing where I did this, I've done this. You make up the calories with other shit. Yeah. So that might have been what was going on. But if you were like eating the same amount of food, dude, the minute I was
doing, I was eating a lot of carbs because it was all I could eat. Because usually like bread and stuff was like softer on my belly.
With the GERD.
On my tum.
My tum. But I will say that it drops my bloat when I don't drink. Because I didn't drink for like a week and I could like feel myself. But I will say I had like carbs this week. You know what I mean? I don't eat as many as I used to. I'm not like off it. But, and I felt myself craving like sandwiches and
every fucking day.
I know it's crazy how much of food is carbs. I know this is such an obvious statement, but it's true.
No, everything is carbs. You don't really like when I did keto, I would like look at something. I'd be like, dude, there's carbs in my vitamins, man. I haven't been able to take my vitamins. That's 4 carbs.
Yeah, but it's like the healthy carbs that you're supposed to have.
Carbs.
Yeah,
they taste good. They're not. These vitamins can't be healthy. They got little pictures of like Fred Flintstone on them. No, they can't.
Is it
be
like
healthy.
Like the Smith Brothers cough drops? They're basically just cherry candy. When I was a kid, did you have that? Were you too young for that? They used to have these things called Ludens.
I used to crush Ludens. Those were good as fuck.
Ludens, and I think Ludens made Smith Brothers, or unless they took them over. Because I remember it was these two guys who probably owned slaves on the cover of this.
They had the mustaches?
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember this?
Yes.
And the cough drops were basically, it was candy. It was just cherry candy. They were so good, dude.
I used to want to get sick just to have them. I'd be like, dude, I kind of got a cough.
Yeah, I would get a pack of those now instead of getting like Myconex or something.
We should grab some after this.
Well, I think they're gone. I think people
I'll break
realized.
my diet for some Ludens.
I think that the FDA was like, oh, by the way, Smith Brothers, there's no medicine in these cough drops.
Dude, stop calling these lozenges.
They were so old, they didn't have methylyptus. They didn't have like the one thing that cough drops had. They did not have, you know how like Halls have like the methylyptus, the Halls. Like Smith Brothers, I know for a fact they didn't have it.
You don't feel like your throat's getting better.
No, you just feel like you're eating candy.
My mom
has
has
Halloween.
My mom has these certain remedies that she 100% believes in, and I used to believe in it because she would say it with such confidence, and now it's just like, yeah, that's just not true. Like when you have a stomachache to drink flat pop or flat soda.
Ginger ale works for me. Flat soda I've never done.
She would stir up a Coca-Cola to get all the bubbles out. You drink that. And she said that's supposed to make you feel better.
I think that's known to work for some people. I think it's based off the person, to be honest. Because I never did it. I don't do it now because I'm like, I drank so much soda in my life. I don't think anything based off soda, remedy off soda is going to work. That's why I think like when I drink coffee now, the caffeine works. I'm like, I drank Coke with caffeine for years, and I felt like I never did anything because it was like sugar and caffeine combo. But now when I just had the pure caffeine, for some reason, I'm like, I feel like it works way better. See, I don't know. It might be in my head.
I think I'm so used to caffeine at this point. I could take a nap after drinking a cup of coffee.
So can I.
It's sad.
But it does wake me up.
It'll wake me up at first, but then my crash is quicker. That's what I'll say. My crash is quicker.
What about the remedy of ginger ale?
Doesn't do it for me.
Really? Doesn't settle your stomach? Ginger ale always works on my stomach. Would always work on my stomach. Ginger ale. I always was like, okay, now because I would have like, I'm talking that's like more like diarrhea type scenario.
You're a huge pop guy, or were?
Yeah. I still drink it, but I'll drink a sip.
What do you think's the best pop?
If you're hardcore, you go boiling because it's like the most sugary, amazing, fresh soda.
That's your desert island soda.
Boiling cane cola. But I'm at the point now, which I'm proud of, is that it's too sweet for me. I get it, and I can't even drink it, and which never would have been the case. But like also, you could make the case that first for your soda novice, a Mexican Coke is You know what it is?
Incredible.
You know what it is this. One thing I realized is this. It used to just be like, hey, straight soda when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I realized, hey, that's just too crazy. Too much. What you have to realize is Coke pairs itself with things so well. Coke and fried chicken. Coke and pizza. It's like the perfect
Coke and a burger.
Coke and a burger. It's like the perfect thing.
Can I get a little controversial about soda?
You go for it. That's what we do here. We're edgelords.
Brand new jerks. We're
jerking it around. We're fisting you with our opinions.
No, that's not.
Oh, okay.
I can't say that anymore.
Okay.
We're gonna come all over you with these soda takes. No, Sprite fucking stinks. Sprite stinks. It is like somebody just fucking dumped a couple of sugar packets in a seltzer. Stinks.
Well, I feel like you're shitting all over the urban community right now because they love Sprite. Sprite gears its ads towards the urban community. It's very apparent. And I feel like there's a little bit of a race-based argument here that you're making. You don't like black people.
That's
what you're trying to say.
That's the jump that we're making. Sprite to I don't like black people.
Let me ask you this though.
I don't really like Fanta, and I still like women.
Remember those commercials?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember those commercials.
Yeah.
Huh?
Let me ask you this. It's back to your Sprite. I don't think it's that controversial. I think it's probably not everybody's soda. I drink it. I enjoy it. It's a good little change for me when I drink soda. Now, are you saying that 7-Up is better, or are you just saying
they all stink?
All those types of sodas.
That style stinks.
What do you think the worst flavor of soda is? That the citrus one or whatever?
The citrus one. Yeah, get it out of my face. I want
like
no part of it.
Lemon lime flavored soda.
Yes. It stinks.
What's the best flavor of soda?
Root beer.
Okay. I'll fuck with you.
Yeah.
I hate root beer.
You
stinks.
hate root beer?
Yeah. Root beer, a lot of people love root beer. You know what it is? Let me ask you this.
Don't point at me.
You know what it is? You know what a lot of people say? Notice this. What a lot of people say is like, oh, a really cold, really, really cold root beer. Like a freezing cold. It always has to be freezing cold.
I never
root beer.
said that.
Everybody says that. Everybody who loves root beer is like, oh, a nice glass of root beer with super cold. It has to be cold. Don't get me wrong. Soda should be cold as well. But people just love Coca-Cola straight up.
Yeah.
Secret formula. Been around for 1,000 years. Used to have cocaine in it.
That's pretty cool about
Coke.
Yeah,
exactly. So, root beer, I think I never got into root beer.
Root beer's
Birch
bomb,
beer
dude.
reminds me of a field trip from 4th grade where you go to like the old timey place in your town and they let you drink the root beer that the guy's making $8 an hour makes.
let me hit you with 3 good ones. Okay. Root beer, obviously.
No, not obviously.
Yeah.
Are
you a Dr. Pepper guy?
I don't mind Dr. Pepper. But I don't chase after it.
And
a lot of people love Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper's incredible.
A lot of people love Diet Dr. Pepper, almost like Diet Coke, has surpassed it for a lot of people.
Oh, I do. Diet Dr. Pepper's my my shit, dude. I love Diet Dr. Pepper.
I just don't like the. I think it's the ads with that they're trying to be weird with that rocker guy, that tiny rocker guy.
You know who that is?
Who is it?
It's Justin Guarini, the runner-up to the first American Idol.
Is that who that is?
Yes.
The guy who's like, I did Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
No, that's not
yes,
him.
Yes, it is. Justin Guarini. Do you have your phone next to you? Look it up.
Wait.
Justin Guarini.
Is it for Dr. Pepper?
I'm also a big Cherry Coke and Cherry Pepsi guy.
Now you're talking. Cherry Coke. You know, Cherry Coke they didn't have for a while.
I'll fuck around and hammer down a Vanilla Coke.
Vanilla Coke, when they brought that back, because you know that was like a back in the day type thing.
Yeah, and then they brought it back and it was lit.
And you don't see it as much anymore. It still exists, I think, right? But like,
still running around.
When they brought that back, it was people were loving it, and then it kind of went by the wayside. Hold on.
I just want people to keep lime shit out of my.
Maybe he's not a fan of lime.
It's it. It's part of it. It's why these Topo Chicos are tough to swallow.
Well, you know, you don't have to drink it. You come to my house and you oh my God, it comes right up. That is him?
Yeah.
I thought it was, oh my God. Justin Guarini is the Dr. Pepper guy. They put him like a wig and like a, I didn't know that.
Yeah, what a good little trivia question.
It is a really good trivia question. And he looks really creepy in that outfit compared to like how he looks normally.
Nah, he looks creepy.
It looks very. It's almost like when they show you a picture of old Michael Jackson compared to new Michael Jackson, like when he like you know feathered his hair and I know it's a wig and it's a character, but
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like, and also I think they put white makeup on him.
Oh yeah, they white faced him, which I don't appreciate.
How is that not an issue for him? If you're an actor of color and then you're doing this character, even when it's a character, and they're purposely making your skin lighter, and I think Justin Guarini is biracial, if I'm not correct. He's a person of color.
I don't know.
How is that not a problem?
I don't know much about him outside of that fact.
How are people not going nuts that he's like that, or he's not like guys?
Seriously? Are you really asking this?
Well, in a time where everything...
Who's going to get outraged over that?
Because people do it all the time when they say they're trying to make this whiter, make this whiter. Justin Guarini, the actor, he got this role. They're trying to make him whiter. Dr. Pepper's trying to make him whiter.
That angle of it. I thought you were talking about white people getting mad that he's doing whiteface.
No.
We're not allowed to do that.
No, and also no white person cares if he did whiteface.
No.
That's the one thing they never tell you about that argument is like, we don't give a shit. And there's no, because it has no historical...
there's no historical relevance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, nobody actually gives a shit. You know who's doing that is like somebody who wants to do blackface.
True.
Some redneck from the middle of the country going, well, if you you can do whiteface if I can do black. Like,
why can they say the word and I can't? I heard Kanye West say it 6 times on one of his songs. Well, dude, so not to change the subject from whiteface and Justin Guarini, but I have 2 things that I kind of want to talk about a little bit.
Well, but here's the thing. Right before you go, because I do want to ask you, like, see, all right, not that I'm going to get on a high horse here, but this is why we should probably get rid of the internet. Because,
dude, I'm on board.
The amount of things that are picked apart for whatever reason, and this is like an ad that ads have been going on for 5 years at least.
Sure.
With this dude. I think people either don't know it's him, and he doesn't care because it's a job. And he's like, that's what I'm saying.
Cleaning up, and he hasn't done shit since American Idol.
Exactly. So, hey, I guess they're thinking if he has no problem with it, we don't care. But in actuality, you should be like, Dr. Pepper, how dare you put white makeup on this biracial actor? Because it's happened before. You've had them saying they whitewashed so much of the shit. That's literally whitewashing a dude's face.
Yeah.
And he's a spokesperson for a soda.
Oh, wow.
So there's a hypocrisy there. Why? Because it's not, nobody gives a fuck about Justin Guarini. That's why.
No, are you sure
are
you sure that's makeup whiting him up? Yeah.
I don't know 100%, but I will say by that picture and just by me, I thought it was a white dude as the character, and I don't think of Justin Guarini as a white dude. I think of him as a biracial guy.
I think he is.
Yeah, he is. Interesting, man. That's
why that makes sense.
So, what were the 2 things you wanted to talk about? Because we do have to.
They were comedy things.
Ooh.
So comedy things.
I don't know why I'm feeling better, so I'm gonna really.
You got your legs back. You got your sea legs back. Yeah. You're back on the ocean, baby. First thing that I wanted to bring up, they kind of coincide with one another. I was watching a comedy special. I watched about 5 minutes of it before I turned it off.
Okay.
And the comedian has blown up. This guy's huge now. And this isn't me talking shit. But it's Matt Rife. Are you familiar with this guy?
Hey, real good looking guy.
Extreme, beautiful.
Yeah.
I shut off the special for 2 reasons.
He had a special on what?
Put a special out on YouTube in 2021.
Oh, okay.
He just sold out my home club in Pittsburgh 8 shows.
Wow.
8 sold out shows. Incredible.
Right.
Good for him. He has a great following. I'm watching his special. He starts it off saying, "Who's ready to be offended?" Who's ready to be offended? Now, my friend Jack, who I was watching this with, brought up a good point. Point number 1 is, this is his special. This is his first special. So I'm sure a good bit of the audience are people that are, 1, really big fans of his. 2, probably friends and family.
Well, you don't think he's saying it ironically? Isn't that what it is? It's supposed to be... Is his whole take, is he like one of these edgelord guys that thinks that I can't say anything these days, cancel culture and all that jazz?
Somewhat, it seems like.
Also, I got to be honest, was 90% of the audience not chicks?
It was a lot of chicks.
Right.
Well, and then
what do you think is going on there?
So then he does another thing, and this is when I turned it off, is where he starts saying like something about look at the white people in the back of the room. Look at the white people in the back of the room, man. They're scared. They're scared when you bring it up. They're scared. Like you give any reparations? And said something like that, and was talking about this.
Does he have a black scent?
A little bit, like a southern black scent. And then I wanted to be like, I could be wrong. I didn't look it up. I still haven't looked it up. Pretty sure he's white.
He's completely white, isn't he?
He's a white guy.
From what I've seen.
I can't stand the like
cultural appropriation.
Well, a little bit, and it's like, you know, it's like oh man, oh man, white people are the worst, and it's like, no, say we're the worst. You are a white person. Just because you're shitting on white people doesn't mean that you're exempt from the fucking shit that we do. Or do you know what I'm trying to say? Or like, I don't know. It was just such a butt ass take, and it bummed me out, and I had to shut it off.
Okay, so here's I have not seen this special. I've seen clips of this guy online. I'm at the point now no, it's not gonna get back to this dude. I have no idea. I don't know who he is. I don't know him personally. I'm good for him. The guy. Here's the thing. I think we have to stop considering certain things stand up, and probably what that guy's doing, from my guess, and I could be wrong. Was there any bits that you remember that you were like, that's a great stand up bit? Was there any moments that you weren't like, this guy could probably come out and read the phone book really funny and look like that and still produce the same results and talk about anything and just looking like the guy's like shit. Back in the day, you would have been like an up and coming actor or something.
Yes, he would have been huge, and he's still going to be huge.
Right, sure.
And like,
so it's like here's the thing about Schultz, Andrew Schultz, good looking enough guy, right? He actually has an act. Guy's been a killer for over 12 years, 15, whatever it is. Guy's an actual stand-up. Yeah, you can make some debate on what he does now. He's an influencer. Guy's wildly famous. Yeah. Good guy. Good looking guy. But like, this is like Schultz Jr. without the substance of stand-up. I do consider Schultz a stand-up. I think we have to get, in my opinion, we have to get to a point where we consider certain things stand-up and certain things not. And what that guy was doing was something that was encapsulated as a stand-up special that was really just for the internet, for girls to share with other girls. Because do you know any male comic that's going to be like, oh my God, that Matt Rife bit. Did you hear that Matt Rife bit? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this it's just the way it is. You win. You look like that. You sold out those shows. Good for you. You figured out the formula to make it seem like you're playing the part of stand-up. Good for you. You got it. You figured out that for now. But in the actual world of stand-up that everybody is fighting to get that respect in. Like, okay, so look, we were just talking before the podcast. You have a guy like Shane Gillis, right? Guy looks like a giant baby. That's not, he's not a bad-looking guy.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I've said this a million times before. Natural Police, actual stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can work towards that, but stand-up is its own. I've always said this. Stand-up is its own thing.
Yeah, but now
so he's not doing
but
stand-up.
now it's being morphed, and it's being under the guise of stand-up, And the thing that just, I guess my points were, I wasn't trying to shit on the guy.
No,
because
me neither. I totally
there's no
get
shit on the act, blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But my thing is the white guy thing is an aside. I just always think it's super weird when like a white dude is on stage trying to make white people in the audience feel uncomfortable.
Corny.
It's corny.
You're corny. But the thing about it is now is like there's no more policing of this stuff.
Yeah.
So like even us talking about it now, it's like, yeah, we have this little podcast. Like we can put a clip about this online, but yeah, maybe it takes off, maybe it doesn't. But nobody turns around anymore and says, this is dumb. Like there's no more trial board.
Patrice O'Neal died.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those guys are, everybody's just trying to work now. All those guys from back in the day, they're just like guys who made their way, and like there's no more sitting at the table and they're calling you stupid and this and that, because they're just trying to make themselves and their way in a world that kind of like a stand-up world that got away from them and isn't exactly what it was at any given time. And that's what this guy is. And I think he would like to pretend that he's doing the right thing, but you're not. You're just kind of doing what works for you, and you have to look inward and don't be a cornball. Stop being a fucking cornball.
And then I have such a hard time with, if you're gonna be like hyper like anti-woke or whatever you would call it now, or super woke, it's like, why do you feel like you need to like, why does every comic now in specials feel like they need to address that? I just think it's like, just do comedy and then people will tell you if it's too edgy. Just do comedy and people will let you know that, oh, this is, everybody friendly comedy.
Because
this is safe space comedy.
I think
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
like,
totally. And I think what it boils down to is like, people are seeing trends. People see the way things go. They go, this person went after that. I'll go after that. I'll get noticed for that. Instead of me just going and being, don't get me wrong, every different iteration of this thing happens. There are people that just talk about themselves and
but it's like, don't say like, are you ready to be offended? Fucking offend them. Just do it. Because then the stuff that he was doing was like, fine. Like it didn't offend anybody. It wouldn't offend anybody.
No, but if you but like that's the thing. It's like, ooh, I'm gonna make you believe like you're getting away with something by being here. But that's the MO of like you're a cornball. You're just a cornball. But stand up has gotten cornier over the past, I don't know, 7 years. Like it's like back in the day, yeah, tough crowd and their own little group. But the good thing about them is that they weren't the arbiters of like what made it in stand up back then, but they were tried and true to stand up and like being funny on stage, and funny was king and funny mattered. And then now it matters it's more like addressing me being like, look how edgy I'm being, and telling you, and then people are just gonna believe, hey, he told me he was edgy. Oh, he said don't. You said you're ready to be offended, and then I wasn't that offended. So I'm in on this like secret language of his stand up, because we're like in this part of this secret club.
That's smart.
We're not with the other woke masses. When in actuality, like nobody really gives a shit. Most people don't care. The internet cares. Right. Yeah. The internet cares.
The internet cares about stirring something up.
What?
The internet cares about stirring something up.
I think they do. The internet. Okay. But the minute you take that out of the equation, you're kind of left with everybody. That's why you had the last meritocracy alive is a stand-up comedy room, but only what happens within the walls of that room.
Anything that comes out doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. A clip becomes a clip, becomes this type of crap.
Last thing,
in my opinion.
Last thing that I wanted to talk about is I do have a jerk of the week, which we haven't had in a while.
We haven't had it in a while. Good.
I don't know if you watched this. The Murdaugh trial.
Oh, I watched not the trial, but I watched the documentary.
The documentary. Did we watch the Netflix one? Because I heard there's another one out there. I watched the Netflix one.
Oh, there's a new one. Yeah, there's another one.
Found it fascinating.
Well, it's also, man, you want to talk about, yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but go ahead. What were your thoughts about it?
I think that Alec Murdaugh dude is a fucking sociopath.
Absolutely.
This guy. Yeah. And he has this thing where it's like, there's nothing he won't do to protect his reputation, his family's reputation, including killing family members.
Absolutely. And it's also a very old school. It's almost like out of a TV show or a movie, like where like that small town, like it reminded me of Diggstown.
What's Digstown?
You ever watch Digstown the movie?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's great. It's Louis Gossett Jr., Bruce Dern, Oliver Platt, James Woods, and Louis Gossett. And then the Digstown Challenge, where he in 12 hours, Louis Gossett Jr. is like this ex-broke down boxer. He'll fight 12 of their toughest guys and make $100,000 at the end of the 12 hours, or $1 million, whatever hell.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
It's awesome. From the 90s. It's a fun 90s movie. But Bruce Dern is the bad guy who just owns the town. And he's a little bit sleazier, but like this guy, everybody knows this Alex Murdaugh guy. They're like, he was a sleaze.
Well, I didn't think shit like that existed still.
Right, but in the South, I think with money and I think where you still can, everybody knows each other. They're like it's micro universe.
Yeah.
And nobody leaves, so you can completely fuck up your reputation. And now the Netflix one, you watched it. They had him tied to like 2 other murders.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you think that they were involved in those, or do you think that was like well-made video and documentary editing?
I think he covered up a lot of stuff. Whether it was those 2 murders, it was probably a lot of other things that he covered up. Rich people don't play by the same rules as us.
Not at all.
And then when they're called out for it, they're shocked.
They can't believe what's happening.
They can't believe it.
They said there was a moment with him when he was denied bail that they said either by visually they noticed it, or he said something to the effect, like, I think that he realized his reign was done. Like, I crossed my line of carte blanche that I had in this town. Like,
I'm done.
I got away with everything I could, but murder is the last step when it's this egregious and this obvious.
Now, I don't want to make light of a sad situation, but I do think some of the people that they
Are you ready to be offended?
But I do think that some of the people that they talked to were pretty hilarious. Those like young Southern people, like the kid with the goatee who it was his girlfriend that got killed on that boat.
He still was friends with the other kid after he did it.
Still friends with the other kid, and the way that he would talk, he said something. He goes, yeah, and then that was at the point where I really almost lost my cool. Really?
It's like, dude. Easy, Jeb.
Yeah.
You're allowed to lose your cool if your girlfriend gets murdered in a boating accident.
Hey, cry, brother. I don't care.
Go to a therapy session.
I know. Yeah, don't
cry
say that.
a little bit, dude. Yeah. He's like, we don't do that down here. We call that F-word shit.
Well, then, dude, and then also there's the kid that actually wrecked the boat. It was like...
Well, also, you see from his behavior, it's almost like he's... You know how you have, like, the id... The ego, the id, and the super ego.
Yeah.
The id is the one that's like everything wrong, like with the ego. Like it's like if consequences didn't matter, it's almost like his son was the id of Alex Murdaugh. Like his son there was no consequences for that kid.
Yeah.
He was the human version of an id. Like he just did whatever the fuck he wanted. So he even at one point he was like screaming in his girlfriend's face, and she was like, "You're ridiculous." He's like, "No, it's ridiculous. Your dad can't take care of your family." That's like movie level rich villain. Like that's like
true.
Like we all know rich people that act fairly cool and realize they're rich or whatever happens, but like that's like extraordinarily evil, rich. I'm gonna destroy you. Do you know who my father is? Type of person.
Well, it's also that thing too where I think that takes a truly evil fuck to go 0 to 100 like that in an argument or in a confrontation or in a conflict. Like, do you know what I mean? Like if
yes,
if like 2 friends are arguing and it's something like, dude, I seriously can't believe that you like something so mundane. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't believe that you fucking would wear that shirt out. You look ridiculous. And then they're like, "Oh, your dad has cancer." It's like, whoa, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like something just so evil to like those people that go for the jugular are just, I couldn't imagine.
Do you think it maybe came from somebody living in a family where they all might have said "I love you," but never actually knew each other, and there was so many secrets and so many skeletons, and they were so afraid of upsetting the patriarch of the family, and everything was about looks, and they had to act a certain way, and then it just turns into this completely unhealthy mess of you just become a giant piece of shit because of it, like because you have no outlet for your emotions, and there's no moment where you can be like, this is fucked what my family does.
I think I'll take being a broke people pleaser any day of the week.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Because that kid is the opposite of us. The id is not people pleasing.
The it is not. The it is one of the worst parts of the human personality.
Yeah.
Is the it. Yeah, but it's known as that. Everybody has an it.
Well, the it is kind of like that idea of me and you being out at a bar in public, and I'm just like, oh, how crazy would it be if I just jumped on the bar and pulled my dick out?
Right.
The it is actually jumping up there and doing it.
Right. Exactly. And it's also like, and that was the first id thing you thought of. His id was driving a boat into an embankment or whatever it was, and telling his girlfriend her dad can't take care of her, which is like, talk about going for a jugular on a, like, it's like just a mean drunk piece of shit, like just but it all comes from the family. But the kid was 22 or whatever he was. Like, it's like,
yeah,
you're an adult. You're an adult.
No, he was under 21 when they were wrecked.
Was he? I thought he was. Oh, was he? Oh, okay.
Or just around that.
Whatever it was, the whole family. The mom was probably a piece of shit. The Buster kid's a piece of shit. Fuck them. Who cares?
Yeah, they're scum.
I'm sure they just got what came to them.
They did. You know what it is. It's just unfortunate that it came to them after other people already got fucked over.
Yeah, but it was the accumulation of the snowballing of just being this ruling family. Everybody, they were like that family in that town, and people were so afraid. They were so tapped in. People were so afraid of crossing them.
Sometimes I feel like a bad person because my id pops up a good amount in my head. I don't act on it ever. But, like, I'll be in a situation where what pops into my head, like, wow, it would be fucking awful if I just said this right now. It's not how I feel, but it would be awful.
But you don't say it.
I don't say it. But there's part of me that's like, I'm curious how people would react if I said it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this before we get off the Alex Murdaugh. Yeah. You think he did it, obviously.
Definitely did it.
Do you think it was just him, or do you think that it was him and somebody else?
I think him and his buddy.
You think it was him and his buddy?
Yeah.
You mean the cousin? The John, whatever his name was?
The guy that shot him, or that he tried framing for shooting him in the back of the head.
You think it was him?
I think it was that.
Somebody had a theory that it wasn't him, and that he owed that guy money, and then whatever it was. Why do you think he did? You think he did it because he was going to try to get away with the life insurances, just like maybe with the maid?
Yeah, and I think he realized that his son was probably going to get a lot of trouble because of the boat, and he just felt nobody was going to cooperate in the town with him after that boat thing happened. So
you don't think it was strictly money? Hey, they get killed by my drug dealer, I get all their life insurance.
I think it was a bonus too.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's good. This is an interesting episode, right?
I know.
We had a lot of fun.
We got deep.
We did get deep.
Balls deep.
Let's do. Speaking of what we talked about in the beginning of the show, it's time. Oh, before we do, guys, give us a follow on TikTok.
Yes. What are we doing here?
I know
Sean?
we're losing it. I'm high on Dayquil. Got brand new jerks. Look us up on YouTube. Follow the YouTube page. We have full episodes, courtesy of my friend Ray, who has been amazing by putting the episodes up there. Contact us, brandnewjerks@gmail.com. Ray has a Instagram himself, and it is
at Ray be killing him.
And Shawnee Donnelly has one. It's at Shawnee Time. Check that out. Look up my UFO videos. I have to film some more of them, but I have to pay people to make them with me, so it's hard. It's expensive. So the UFO Street. Look at that on TikTok, and I'm on Twitter as well. I retweet UFO articles on there. Guys, we're going to have a guest next week. We've been having a blast with the guest episodes. The Anthony DeVito episode was one of the most fun ones we've had. Right now it's time for the awkward handshake. Boo, 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 boo. Oh, you dead fished me.
I dead fished me.
It's supposed to be awkward. See you next week. Thanks, guys. Baby.